Hello, so here we're dealing with the problem number 6, and in this problem we have to find equilibrium index of array with integers. An equilibrium index is the index where the sum of elements on the left and the right side are equal to each other. For example, for this particular example, the equilibrium index is number 3, so if we write down the index values, it will be 3 because the elements to the left and elements to the right are equal to each other because they're equal to -1. So how we're gonna do what we're gonna do to solve this problem? First of all, we will calculate the whole sum of all elements in the array, and here it's equal to 0. After that, we'll declare left sum variable, which initial value will be just the minimum value of integer. And after that, let's just write down all numbers again. So here's the index values. After that, we go to the first element at the index 0. We're subtracting the element from there from our sum, and since it's negative value, subtracting will make it positive, +7, and we'll just compare the remaining sum of all elements to the right with our left sum value and check if it's equal or not. But now it's not equal, so we go to the next element at the index 1. After that, we will check all elements to the right. Before that, we're just subtracting 1 from our sum. -1 will make it +6, and then we're just defining the element from our left side to our left sum variable, and they're not equal to each other. So then we go to the next element at the index 2, but before that, we're adding this element from index 1 to our left sum, and -7 plus 1 will make it -6. So since we go to this element at the index 2, we're subtracting the value, the 5 from our sum, so 6 minus 5 will make it 1. After that, we're comparing left sum with the sum. They're not equal to each other, so we go to the next element at the index 3, but before that, we're adding this 5 to our left sum, and it will make it -1. So when we go to this index at number 3, we are subtracting the element from our actual sum, -2 will make it -1. So at this point, we see that our left sum values and the sum values are equal to each other, and at that point we'll just return this particular index, which is 3. So how it's gonna look like on our code, I just write down some code in advance just to speed up our process. So I call it find eq, and returning integer, I declared sum and left sums. So I already run for loop just to sum all elements to the sum. After that, we're initializing another for loop, and at the beginning of our for loop, we're just decrementing from our sum with the elements from an array, and after that we're checking if our sum value is equal to left sum value. If it is, we will just return I, which represents the index value. If it's not, before starting a new for loop, we'll just decrement our left sum by that element from array. And if we will not be able to find out the equation of sum and left sum within this for loop, we'll just return -1, meaning that there is no equilibrium index. So let's check it out if it's work or not. So we will take the same example. So at the beginning our sum value is equal to 0. Our left sum don't have any values. So we're starting for loop. We're subtracting first element, our sum now -7. Then we're checking if left sum is equal to sum. It's not. So we're adding this first element to left sum and make it -7. So we go to the next element in our array. We're checking, we're subtracting it from sum. Since it's when we were subtracting, sum should be plus. We're subtracting next element, which is 1 from 7, and our sum will be equal to 6. We're checking if left sum are not equal. We're going to the next step and adding this element to left sum. So our -6 became 6. We're starting new loop with subtracting next element, which is 5. Our sum became 1. Checking equations, go to the next step, adding this element to our left sum. So here it must be -6. We're just adding 5 and it will make it -1. We're starting a new for loop. We're subtracting element from our sum, and our 1 became -1. Here we check and we see that it's equal to each other. We're just returning the value of 3. So time complexity for this code, since we're using for loops, and time complexity will be 2 n's, and we can round it up to 1n. So it will be order of n and space. Here we're just defining 2 variables of integers. So the constant memory consumption.